Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Lindsie Chrisley starved for attention. Why all the trolling? Is Lindsie Chrisley starved for attention? The former Chrisley Knows Best star said she would never mention her estranged family ever again. Yet, she's trolling them in a new TikTok video. This has some wondering if she's seeking attention from them. In case you didn't know, Lindsie has a TikTok account. She posted a new video that has Chrisley fans talking. Lindsie and her Coffee Convos podcast co-host Kaylin Lowry were acting a little silly. The two girls walked funny in her new TikTok video. Read on to see the video for yourself and for more information. Shares advice with her fans. Lindsie Chrisley had a falling out with Todd Chrisley and the rest of the family. She said she would never speak about the family again. The reality star would also appreciate it if they don't speak about her. But that doesn't stop her from sharing some details on her Coffee Convos podcast. In a previous episode, she talked about how she escaped distractions and chaos. The influencer knows a thing or two about dealing with chaos. Lindsie Chrisley has been handling most of her family issues with positivity and grace. Sometimes, she'll share the occasional cryptic message on social media. Some of them include song lyrics or journal entries, while others are Bible verses or inspirational quotes. Lindsie Chrisley has been following in her father's footsteps. He does the same on his Instagram page. Also, like Todd, Lindsie will offer her fans advice. Lindsie Chrisley shared her advice for escaping distractions and chaos. She stays true to her faith, like her family. Fans love how positive and upbeat Lindsie has been lately. But, it looks like she's back to her old ways. She's trolling her family in a new TikTok video. Lindsie Chrisley trolls her family? On Thursday, March 24th, Lindsie Chrisley posted a funny new video on TikTok. The clip shows her and teen mom alum Kaylin Lowry tiptoeing around a narrow hallway. The walls had clocks all over the walls. Both of the ladies looked silly with the way they walked. Lindsie Chrisley wrote in the video, "Sneaking out of Todd Chrisley's house. They walked with one foot in front of the other. The reality stars took their index finger and thumb and put them in front of their eyes." Lindsie Chrisley then made a funny face at the end. Kaylin kept messing up her walk because she couldn't stop laughing. Some fans found her new TikTok video. However, others think she's desperate for attention. Lindsie said she would never mention her father. So why would she post this video? What are your thoughts on Lindsie Chrisley's new video? Do you think she's trolling for attention? Sound off below in the comment section. Lindsie Chrisley had always known that living life in the public eye came at a cost. But lately, the cost felt higher than ever. When she opened her phone each morning, she never knew what she might see. Memes mocking her podcast clips, strangers diagnosing her mental state, or comments dissecting everything from her hairstyle to her parenting choices. It was as if an entire corner of the internet had decided she was their favorite target for cheap entertainment. But for Lindsie, none of it came as a surprise. The truth was, the Chrisley name itself carried a magnetic pull for drama, curiosity, and criticism. And with Todd and Julie behind bars, Chase keeping a low profile, Savannah defending the family on multiple fronts, and Grayson withdrawing from the spotlight, Lindsie found herself uniquely positioned and painfully exposed. With everyone else quiet, she had become the internet's lightning rod. And people were asking the same question over and over again. Why is Lindsie trolling everyone? What is she really after? But the better question was, what was she defending herself from? A life under a microscope. Most people only saw the curated clips on social media, the polished podcast covers, the quick Instagram stories meant to disappear after 24 hours. They didn't see what came before the camera rolled. A mom waking up exhausted at 5 a.m., a woman juggling work, family, and the constant pressure to stay relevant in an industry that devours attention like oxygen. For months, Lindsie had noticed that engagement dipped unless she said something bold. If she posted a normal life update, her morning coffee, a picture of Jackson's soccer practice, a quote about boundaries, nobody cared. But if she hinted at Chrisley family tension? If she tossed out a sarcastic comment that could be interpreted 10 different ways? If she posted something cryptic just vague enough to spark conversation? Suddenly, her comments lit up. Podcasters dissected her words. Bloggers wrote headlines. Trolls assembled like moths to a flame. It was engagement for better or worse. And in her world, engagement was currency. When silence isn't an option. Lindsie had tried staying quiet before. Every time she pulled back, rumors filled the space her voice had left behind. She's jealous of Savannah. She's pretending to be estranged for sympathy. She's obsessed with staying relevant. She's trolling to get attention because her podcast is failing. None of those things were true. But online, truth rarely mattered. After months of watching strangers rewrite her reality, Lindsie finally decided. If they were going to speak loudly, so would she. So she leaned into her humor. She posted videos with a wink. She shaded back at people who shaded her first. She cracked jokes that skirted the line between serious and playful. And for a moment, she enjoyed the freedom of not caring what anyone thought. But the internet doesn't like it when someone refuses to stay in the box they've been put in. That's when the trolling got worse. The attention she never asked for. People accused her of attention-seeking, but they never understood the irony. None of the attention felt good. None of it made her feel more seen, more validated, more loved. If anything, it hollowed her out, making her question how long she could keep balancing humor, honesty, and the exhaustion of being and become relentless. Some mocked her looks. Others dragged her parenting. Many weaponized her past mistakes. A few even celebrated her low moments. Every day, she wondered, why are people so invested in misunderstanding me? But then one afternoon, after reading a particularly harsh thread, she put her phone down and asked herself a deeper question. Why does this hurt me more than it should? The answer came quietly. Because she wasn't starved for attention. She was starved for understanding. Behind the walls she built. Despite her public persona, sarcasm, humor, confidence, Lindsie had been struggling behind the scenes. She had built thick walls to protect herself, but thick walls also kept out the compassion, empathy, and connection she desperately needed. She wasn't trolling for attention. She was using humor to cope. She was using sarcasm to deflect. She was using personality as armor. And somewhere along the way, the internet forgot she was a person. A turning point. One night, after putting Jackson to bed, Lindsie sat on the couch scrolling through comments she knew she shouldn't be reading. Some were cruel, but one stood out. She's doing all this because she wants someone to care. A stranger had typed the words flippantly, probably meant as an insult. But strangely they hid a truth. Not because she wanted people to care about her drama or headlines, but because she wanted someone to care about her, the person she hid behind jokes and filters. For years she had been called dramatic, messy, complicated, attention-hungry. What she rarely heard was, "You've been through a lot. You're human. You're allowed to make mistakes." She exhaled deeply, for the first time understanding something she hadn't admitted even to herself. She wasn't trying to get attention. She was trying to take back control of her own narrative. The woman behind the trolls. The internet would never fully know the full story behind the sarcastic comments or cryptic posts. They wouldn't know the loneliness she hid behind humor or the anxiety she masked with wit. They wouldn't see how hard she worked to stay afloat while the world kept pulling her down. But Lindsie knew who she was. She wasn't starving for attention. She was starving for peace. And ironically, every time she clapped back at trolls, every time she posted something that stirred the pot, every time she reclaimed a piece of her voice, it wasn't to provoke chaos. It was to survive it. Why all the trolling? Because people love the story, not the human. Because the Chrisley name guarantees clicks. Because confidence, especially from a woman, threatens people. Because humor is misunderstood as arrogance. Because vulnerability is mistaken for weakness. But Lindsie wasn't going anywhere. If the internet insisted on misunderstanding her, she would still rise, loud, bold, messy, honest, and unashamed. After all,